merging of those works somewhat. The second big thank you I really want to say is, on behalf of a lot of us who've kind of gone down this path, we've got married and, in some cases built families, Sarah, a couple more, Mark, wherever he is. I just want to start by saying, thank you for not inviting our children. You guys think you're having fun? This is like Nirvana for us, okay? So, things were definitely simpler when we met 15 years ago at university. I was a longer-haired stoner, for want of a better word, and following the herbal scents down the hallway, bumbled in, the most oddball teenager I'd ever met. And look, I don't think too much has really changed. So what I thought we'd try to do for the next couple of minutes is actually just try to figure out who the hell Alex Cass is. Okay, this really isn't easy. Like, I've got to say, you're a bloody odd bloke, mate. So throughout this lecture, I'm going to refer to some help I actually got from some people who couldn't make it today. I went around and texted people and said, which characters does Alex Cass remind you of? And it was amazing. Like, given the chance for these people to slip in their own slanders, the outpouring was phenomenal. And just to give you the kind of format, so that's the two characters from each person. And the first one comes from Spain. They said, Benedict Cumberbatch? All right. Okay. Pretty good. Meets Mr. Bean. And I actually think that's really good. Okay? And I'm not going to lie, the really funny thing about this was the consistency. 30% of respondents used Mr. Bean in their comeback. This is genuinely true. I only came up with this idea last week, and I had to keep telling people maybe mix it up. But we also had Mr. Bean meets Hugh Grant. Okay. And this was a little bit somewhat harder to grasp, but I had to slip it in. Mr. Bean meets Spud from Trainspotting. Okay, and it also turned out that some of the people I asked weren't actually invited. So the next most common response was, thanks for the fucking invite. So that's the kind of background cover of what I'm going to do, and I want to get into the meat of it now. So we all love you deeply. You're a man of several talents, but this speech needs to last longer than you do. So I thought we could use something we learn in our philosophy classes, and this is really deep, this is profound. All right, this is the way of via negativa. So the idea is that to describe God, okay, the only way you can really do it is by saying what he is not. Cass, our subject today, is somewhat less than godlike, so this should be hopefully easy. So here are the things that Alex Cass is not. Number one, Alex Cass is not coordinated.
Yeah.
Clumsy Cass is the kind of nickname he probably hasn't heard directly. Wherever he goes, he leaves red wine stains in his wake. I'll refer back to the multiple Mr. Bean comments, and I think it was just a shock to me as it was anyone who knows him that he didn't stub his toes down to dust during his time at sea. And perhaps not so much of a surprise that his ability to woo Sandra came with the nearest dance floor thousands of miles away, and in a setting where everyone had a natural wobble. And by the way, good luck for your first dance, mate. Number two, Alex Cass is not a man of the people. So genuinely, from Australia, one of the text responses I got back was, you are Jacob Rees-Mogg meets Stephen Fry. I mean, for the French, I don't know how to translate this, but let's just say there's a decent part of history in which Cass would have lost his head. Someone else randomly said you are the Big Lebowski meets Peter Pan. So how the hell you blend those together, I don't know. You're a beautiful, bizarre contradiction. You shouldn't work. And as per the point on coordination, you barely do. but still the only person I know who goes by surname first, thinks cufflinks are normal attire for an East London reggae party. And I'm distinctly reminded of the time Jamie and I came to London for what we thought was going to be a night in Soho's sleaziest bars, only to find out when you had booked the Nutcracker, it wasn't a euphemism, you actually had planned a lads' night out at the ballet. Number 3. Alex Cass is not smooth. They say you shouldn't bring up past sexual exploits in a best man speech, but let's just say of all those nights out and all those years together, doesn't really come up. Number 4. Alex Cass is not down with the kids. I can reveal that Cass does in fact carry a form of contraception with holes in them. I'm talking about your fucking Crocs.
Yeah.
Yes, Cass, at the age of 30, you've already resigned to dressing like the elderly. For Cass, music hasn't progressed since Springsteen, and yet, strangely, at any opportunity to spend all night at what can only be described as wobbling to techno, there you are, wide-eyed, with a smile that puts every facial muscle hard at work. And that brings me to, from Singapore, Cass is Hunter S. Thompson meets Jim Carrey. But Cass, you are certainly not boring. So whatever the future holds, I know for you two, I know it's going to be eccentric, adventurous, and you're going to have a lot of fun along the way. But just to end, and you know, another kind of strange observation I had when I was writing this speech is, Alex Cass, believe it or not, you're actually the wisest of all my friends. Which is really a relative compared to those other cretins that I hang out with. But I'll just leave you with a few of the deepest sound bites that I'll personally carry forever, and I hope you can remember them always and take them with you. Number 1, every time a friend succeeds, I die a little inside. Genuinely true. The lottery is just a tax on hope. He's a really cheerful guy, this guy, isn't he? This one came shortly after my wife gave birth to our first child. Don't invest too much time on your kid. You may not like them when they're older. Okay, and my personal favourite, we both gave up drinking for a month, and we really quickly realised we didn't actually have much in common. But Cass stood there one day and he observed, do you know, this not drinking thing, you don't live longer, it just feels longer. Ladies and gentlemen, with wisdom like that, what could possibly go wrong? So if we all can raise our glasses and wish the happy couple many non-boring, adventurous and eccentric times ahead. Cass and Sandra.
Yay.